And good morning, everyone. Welcome to this day on this nice, bright and sunny day after all the rain that we have. I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. On our show today, the president of United Board, Juanita Skillman, is here today. And primarily what we're going to talk about are these forms that you can fill out, the Code Red form and the opt-in form and emergency contact form, all very important things that can help you out when you need it. We're going to have a guest up that has been on our show before, Dr. Carl Rossi from California Protons. He's the medical director, and they're located down in San Diego. And they have a really great way of kind of pinpointing if you have cancer or certain types of radiation and things like that. And it's a really cutting-edge technology. Going to bring you a segment with social services as well as Sterling Financial Advisors. Now, as meetings go today, United has their new resident orientation. If you'd like to go to that, if you're watching us in the morning, please call them at 268-2337. And then Third has their agenda prep meeting. That'll be at 9:30 in the Sycamore Room. Now let's get to the weather. And I can tell you that as far as the rain goes, we had at our house just yesterday was about 1 3/4 inches, and combine that with what we had on Wednesday, and I would say we're just over 2 inches of rain, at least where I live. So that's probably pretty much around South Orange County. I did see this morning that Santa Ana, downtown Santa Ana, that area, you know, where they measure all that, they were 3 3/4 inches. And there were certain areas of Southern California that got 4 inches or more. So this turned out to be a big system that came in. As far as rain goes, well, I told you last week, or I told you a few days ago, there was a possibility on Tuesday, pretty much taken out of the forecast now. In fact, when we get to Tuesday, you can see 65 degrees. It is about 10%. That means 10% somewhere in Southern California. But if we get anything, it'll be very slight if that comes in. But, you know, that could change. So going forward, you just have some nice, pleasant weather. A few little clouds out there, more so as we get to Monday and Tuesday. But very, very nice weather. About 67 over the next couple days. And you can see cool at night. You know, you get this clear air and the temperatures go down. So nice weather after all this rain that we got. Let's look around the state, and you can see that maybe up in the North Coast, that means Eureka, they might get a little drizzle on Sunday, and that would be the system. If it makes its way down here, we could get a little bit on Tuesday. But partly cloudy most areas, a lot of snow for you skiers. I know I just quickly looked at Mammoth. Their average base is 54 inches as of yesterday. So I think it's something like around 30 inches down right by the village. And then at the top, it is something like 75 inches. That's a lot of snow this early in the season, and that's Mammoth. That's the only one I checked. So you can go on the best way, by the way, if you don't want to go to individual ski resorts, if you just simply Google California ski resorts, it lists every one plus links to their website, so for you skiers. But around the area, this is our average for the weekend. Palm Springs about 71, San Diego 70, and Big Bear 48. So those are our averages when I average Friday, Saturday, and Sunday together. And for here, we're going to be looking at right in the mid to upper 60s. So beautiful weather. All right, we'll be right back.
There are over 400,000 seniors in Orange County today, so where does a senior or family caregiver go for information and resources? You can turn to the Answers Guide, published by the Council on Aging Southern California. Answers is full of articles and resources to help you navigate the aging experience. You can pick up your free copy today at the clubhouse nearest you or at the Social Services Office. The Council on Aging, helping seniors remain healthy, connected, and protected.
Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center is your hospital. We are here to serve you and this community, which is why we're pleased and delighted to announce a new valet service that will be safe and convenient for you and your family to visit the medical center. We're the only hospital in South Orange County that provides free parking and free valet service. There are no strings attached. We just want you to have the best experience possible.
If your loved one is struggling, trying to maintain independence in their home, ActiCare can help. Our caregivers provide home care services to relieve the strain placed on family and make staying at home possible. Don't let another day go by without getting the care they deserve.
We can provide your loved one the care they need and motivation, and give you peace of mind. Please call to set up a free care consultation.
ActiCare, responsive in-home care. Your first day is free.
I just love that ring. Where'd you get it?
I got it at the jewelry box. I saw it on Facebook, and then I went in and bought it. They have the most unique, awesome pre-owned pieces for amazing prices.
The Jewelry Box of Lake Forest, voted best jewelry store in Orange County for 8 straight years, offering unmatched prices on fine jewelry and watches, refurbished to new condition.
Visit us in our store or shop our website for just arrived items.
The Jewelry Box. It's about trust.
Well, as I said, Juanita is here today from United Board, and you've got a few things to talk about. One of them we're going to get to in just a few minutes are those forms that I was mentioning.
But first of all, everybody in United got a white envelope like this, and it says at the bottom, "Do not discard, contains important budget information." But what I'm here to tell you today is there's more than just budget information into this. And what I find is a lot of people, and I think we have a slide on this, they look at the front sheet that tells them what they're
yeah, I put up these. I had these on camera. Looked a little. They were hard to read.
Well, I thought we had this one too.
Yeah, but I've got all these others.
Okay,
but,
never mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, they look at the top sheet that tells them what their assessments are going to be for the next year, and a little explanation that we have a basic assessment, but that because we are a co-op, our property taxes are added on top of that, and people's property taxes are different. So if we say our basic assessment is $578.52 per man or per month, and they say, I pay $600, I pay $700, what, that's your property taxes.
Yeah.
And people's property taxes differ. But the main thing I want to tell people is please don't just read the top sheet and then throw everything else away, because there's wonderful information on this. 2 times a year, in November and again in April, we are required by law to put these disclosures out. And they answer so many questions for people who don't really know. The first part is the annual budget report, and it shows both for United and for Golden Rain. There's a table of contents if you want to look at yours. What the whole budget and trust and reserves and all of that are. But then they have the annual policy statement, and these are things that people really don't know about or are questioning. And those are things like the disciplinary process, how it works in United, what the schedule of monetary payments is and penalties, the traffic monetary penalties. We have so many people who then come and say, I didn't know that we had this or that I would have to pay this or whatever. Collection and lien policy. If you do get behind, and we have a collection agency and there's a policy, and it shows you exactly the steps that have to go through if we have to put a lien on your property. And foreclosures are something that most people don't understand. Then we have the architectural review procedures. If you want to do any alterations to your manor, these are what you have to go through. And then last but not least, it calls them other enclosures. And this is what we have the slide for. Now, I think the last couple of days have made this very clear, I hope, to everybody. First of all, we have the code red. the byword here is if we can't reach you, we can't notify you. We've been very fortunate this year not to have some of the big disasters that have been all around us, but you see it on television all the time. Now, we had 2 fires that came close enough that we were bothered by the smoke.
Right.
And the fire up near Lake Elsinore and the hills and all through there, it blew inland instead of towards the ocean. But if winds had been the other way, it could have come here. And then we had the Aliso Canyon one just below us. So we have a lot of nature around us. We back up on the big reserve. And even though we've worked with the fire authority to clear our borders so that they can get through and in, there's always a chance that there's going to be a fire there. The embers from any fire can go wherever the wind takes them. And then we have more fires, and even in the village. So the Code Red is basically a form, and it's in your packet. It's in the back of your packet. Please fill it out. And it's the one with the red stripes. And it also has the other side that tells you all about it. But this is information so that we can notify people, that your family members, whatever, if there's any kinds of a problem and you have to evacuate and they want to know where you are and how you're doing. We also have attorney or trustee name, your pet care contact. If you remember from the TVs, a lot of the people who had to evacuate up in Malibu and up through there had to leave their pets behind, or else they were taken to a separate place. So we need to know where your pets are and what the contact names are, and we encourage everybody to have a carrier for their pets so that they can get them out. So please fill this out, turn it in downstairs at the desk, or just mail it in. Another one that a lot of people just throw away is this opt-out authorization form. Basically, we have membership lists of the people. It's kind of like, if you will, a super phone book. It has names and addresses and phone numbers for the people that live in the village. Some people choose not to be in the phone book. And this opt-out authorization form says, we, as the village, can have this contact information for you, but we do not give it out to anybody else. And so if, say some sort of commercial thing comes in and says, I want your membership list, and we're going to send everybody some sort of information. If you've opted out, in our computer it says no, and you will not get that. So we found a lot of this around campaign time, where they wanted to send literature to everybody. And so if you don't like your name, address, and phone number being out to the general public, just for there, fill out the opt-out form. And then last but not least, we have the contact information form. And people say, oh, I filled that out when I moved in. And you do get this when you move in. But you'd be surprised how many times there are changes. Your doctor's name, you've changed to a different doctor. Maybe the emergency contacts have changed their phone number or address, and it's not the way it was when you first moved in. So we want the information on that. It's just really important every year when you get this, fill it out, bring it in, send it in, and we'll update our files so that we always have the most current contact information for emergencies for them. So there's a lot in that big white envelope. Please look at it all, understand what our budget is coming up for the 2019 year and what we're going to be doing and how that money is going to be spent. And the same way we also give it to you for GRF, because as a United member, you are also a member of GRF. And it's important for you to see how they're spending your money, our money. So I really encourage people, don't throw that envelope away. Maybe not sit down and read it all at once, but there are 3 or 4 different parts of it that we want to be able to update you on.
I have a question now. Can people choose to have that sent electronically to them, or you, by law, must send out the physical?
Right now we have to send out the physical.
Okay.
Come January 1st, we have some new state laws that are going to allow us to do a lot more electronically. Our problem, of course, as it always has been, is we have about 1,000 of our residents who do not have access to computers, internet. They don't have a tablet or a smartphone or a computer at home, and so we can't do everything digitally.
Okay.
But we're trying to move to as much as we can digitally, and it's getting better and better, but it's still not complete, but they can do it both ways.
All right, very good.
And then I want to announce that next Thursday, the 14th, we are going to have 9 o'clock in the morning down in the boardroom. Our landscape committee will be giving their final report. As you probably remember, on the pesticide, particularly the Roundup issue, we've been doing a 100-day study where we have looked at not using it. We've looked at what kind of substitutes are available, how they are, how much it's going to cost, how much it would increase our assessments, all of those kinds of things. And they've been testing them, see if they really work. And so we've also been working with City of Irvine, with UCI, with a lot of government agencies to see their use of these different types of pesticides and what works and what doesn't, and how much extra labor it takes. There's a lot of different things. And so we've been looking at all of that rather than just say, it's gone.
Okay. But that's a good point.
Thursday, and then she will be on this day, next Friday.
She meaning Maggie.
Maggie Blackwell, who's our chair. I don't know if she's going to bring Bruce or not. Probably not, because she has all the information.
Okay. Yeah, she does.
And so
she's good at that.
She's really good at doing that all for us. So we appreciate that.
All right. So thank you very much. Happy holidays to you. Because I probably won't see you before then.
Probably not.
But remember, when you got your packet here, go through it, especially these forms.
Yeah. Go to the end of the packet, not just the first sheet that tells you about assessments.
All right. We'll be right back.
The holidays are here. Let Diane's Hallmark help you with all your gift-giving needs, with a wide selection of gifts, as well as Hallmark Christmas cards and ornaments. Diane's Hallmark can help you get into the holiday spirit. We also carry fine women's clothing, jewelry, and accessories. And don't forget that we carry Bibles, Christian books, and gifts as well. Come in today and see it all. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Walmart Shopping Center next to Hobby Lobby.
I was unable to achieve erection. You know, being single and when searching for a partner, that was always in the forefront of my thinking. I wanted to find a more natural solution.
Lasara offers the only clinically proven medical treatment that reverses erectile dysfunction without the use of pills, needles, or surgery.
I'm just really grateful to Lasara. This is the best decision I could ever have made.
Call now for the Laguna Woods Special.
For more information, visit medterracbd.com.
I'm coming for you, Cancer. With California Protons, I now have the technology and expertise to fight with unmatched precision. I'll zero in and wear you down with radiation, millimeter by millimeter. You won't weaken me. I'll spare my tissues and protect myself against future threats. Cancer, you're history. I'm looking to the future.
And I'd like to welcome Dr. Carl Rossi. He's the medical director for California Protons. Welcome back, sir. Always a pleasure to have you and you folks up from San Diego.
Yeah.
And today, the subject that we're going to talk about is the history of proton therapy, because you know, it is very cutting edge technology, but yet it goes back quite a ways. Yeah, at least where, you know, back where it really kind of started in its infancy. It wasn't just a few years ago.
No,
it's
I
a
mean,
long
this
time
actually,
ago.
this, you know, this is based on a discovery that was made in 1903, so over a century ago. And in the essence,
I didn't know it went back that far.
Well,
wow.
that's when this was, when it was first discovered. You know, the essence of proton treatment is that we're using a beam of radiation that stops.
Yeah.
And it stops because of the physical properties of protons. That was discovered in 1903 by a gentleman named William Bragg. He was a PhD, a physicist who eventually won the Nobel Prize for some other work he did. But he found out that if you shot protons into things, they would go to a certain distance and they would stop and not go beyond that point. So if you're going to radiate a tumor, you could bring in a dose, hit it, and not treat the stuff past it. Well, again, that's 1903.
That's amazing.
1946 rolls around, so now we're just at the end of World War II, and there's another PhD physicist named Robert Wilson who writes a paper. He says, this property of protons that they actually will stop is very handy. It may have some very interesting implications in medicine, provided that we have the ability to localize what we want to hit. So again, we're talking about the year after World War II ended. We didn't have CAT scans.
Yeah.
Didn't have any of that stuff. But the idea was put out there in the medical literature. Then you fast forward to the mid-1950s, and people first start trying it. And they were doing this with machines that were never designed to treat people. They did this at the Harvard Cyclotron Lab in Los Alamos. And you know, we look at it today, and it looks literally like Frankenstein's lab, but that's the best they could do at the time.
Right.
And they showed that it was safe and effective. Between the late 1950s and 1990, there were literally several thousand patients treated around the world that way. Not very many at a time because the machines were never designed for that, but enough to show it was safe, it was effective, it had reduced toxicities, and what changed the whole ability for a large number of patients to get it is that in 1990 was when you had the first medical proton center opened up, of which there are now 30 in the United States and about another 50, 60 around the world. And by medical center, I mean this is a place that was designed to do proton treatment with medicine as its primary mission. So instead of being able to treat 1 to 2 people a day and treat very specific things like certain eye tumors and brain tumors, you can treat 100 patients a day, and you can treat head to toe if you need to, brain, breast, lung, you know, prostate, all the things that you would normally treat in a cancer center.
You know, going back years and years ago, when they found this out with the protons, is it depending on the type of, the strength of protons? I mean, because obviously what you folks do, when you treat someone, it's going to be different for everyone. We wanted to stop at this point, but the other patient, we wanted to go a little bit further.
So, first of all, you know, tumors are not conveniently this big. They come in all different shapes and sizes. And what we're able to do by imaging the patients and making, in effect, a three-dimensional model of what we want to hit, you can design a plan so that you manipulate this stream of protons so that the protons will stop within that volume.
Okay.
Effectively, you just fill that volume up.
Yeah. Kind of like playing, what was that game years ago, Tetris? When you
pretty much. Or another way of looking at it, if you've ever seen the way a 3D printer works, you know, you build a solid object by putting in layers of dose. This is a 3D printer with radiation.
Wow, fascinating. Now, not everybody, and I think you told me this before, this is not maybe appropriate for everyone, am I right? It depends on the type of cancer or how it's spread, and am I correct?
That's correct. So radiation therapy in general, whether it's protons or the more traditional X-ray treatment, we tend to use that primarily on things that are localized.
Okay.
Because it's a great treatment for that. So this isn't for, say, a primary treatment for, say, a leukemic patient where the disease is head to toe. But there are an awful lot of things that are localized, and again, you go from the top of the head to the bottom, and you can consider all these different sites of disease that can be benefited by protons.
And the biggest reward, so to speak, in this is that you're treating just the area.
Correct. Yeah, the primary benefit of this is not that we do a better job at curing the patient, we do a better job of not harming the patient.
Yeah.
We've known for a long time that radiation's a toxin, right? And that there's no benefit to treating healthy tissue.
Yeah.
There's one safe dose of radiation that people all agree on, and that's 0.
Yeah.
So if you can, for example, treat a breast cancer patient and not treat her heart, because you stop the beam before it ever gets to the heart, then her risk of radiation-induced heart disease is 0.
Yeah. So, if someone comes in, or a patient goes to their, their primary care and then a specialist, how do they come about using you folks? Meaning, because not everyone, there are great centers out there that treat cancer and all that. Not everyone uses this. And one, I'm wondering why. Is it because maybe the costs or the machinery, or people aren't aware of it?
It's like most things that you'd expect. It's a combination of all those factors.
Okay.
First of all, in terms of the cost and payment for treatment, the FDA has recognized proton therapy as an acceptable form of radiotherapy for, over 3 decades. And then, for example, Medicare has reimbursed for proton treatment, covered it since 1991.
Okay.
So for many patients, the insurance barrier is there, for many it is not.
Okay.
But how do our patients hear about it? They sometimes hear about it from their physician. It's sad to say that a lot of physicians are either not aware of it, or they think, oh, it can only be used on esoterica. I was told just last week by a physician that you can't use protons to do a certain treatment. Like, well, we've been doing that for 20 years. You just didn't know it. But an awful lot of patients, and this is, I think is great, they do their own research. They get on the internet, they start reading, they realize that there are potentially alternatives that are equally effective but less harmful. And if they're fortunate enough to live within a relatively close distance of a center and or have the means to get there, they come see us directly. They don't need to be referred. Many of them are, many of them are not. They refer themselves.
Okay, so that's even if someone has an HMO plan, or Medicare HMO, or a Medicare Advantage, I should say. Can they refer themselves?
Absolutely, they can. Yeah, they generally can. What may happen if they're within HMOs, the HMO may decline to cover the cost of the consultation, and the HMO may say, no, we're not going to cover the cost of therapy because we can give you something which is equally curative. Which, again, it may be true from the standpoint of disease control, but it may not be true from the standpoint of harm. So we do a lot of appeals for patients being denied. We do a lot of comparative planning where we'll show and ensure, look, here's a proton plan, here's an X-ray plan, look at the difference in dose to the heart and the lung and such.
Right.
And we do a lot of fighting sometimes to get patients treated. That's true in medicine in general, unfortunately.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, you guys are located down in San Diego.
Correct.
And I think you're right outside of the city, just a bit.
The facility is located in Mira Mesa, but right on the north side of Marine Corps Station, Miramar.
All right. Let me see, the plane's going over.
That's right. I hear them all the time.
Yes, see the Top Guns out there.
Yep.
And do you have centers elsewhere, or just down there for now? Or do you work with other centers? You mentioned there's like several places throughout the country.
There as of this week, there are 30 operating proton centers in the United States. In fact, number 30, which is Emory University in Atlanta, treated their first patient on Tuesday. But of those 30, there are only 4 in the Western United States. So there's Scripps. The former Scripps.
Yeah,
California
right.
Protons.
You guys work,
Loma Linda, which was the first one built and is now 30 years old. There's a Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale, Arizona, and University of Washington. So the geographic distribution is large. Now we have, amongst all the proton centers, we have clinical trials that we do. There's a clinical trial group called one's called Prague, and some other ones, and we coordinate care amongst patients all the time. We also do a lot of work with, we get a lot of referrals from various institutions where they may have a challenging case. They send us, like we've treated patients from Cedars-Sinai, and we treat patients from UCLA, and I think we're, our strongest clinical partner, and certainly a champion of proton therapy, is the University of California, San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah, they are our clinical partner now. They have several of their physicians which are working at the Proton Center, either full-time or part-time, and they treat a number of their patients there. So we do a lot of coordinating, whether it's with other proton centers or probably more commonly with other academic and large private centers that say, look, we've got a particular case, we think this could benefit, can we get that patient to you? In which we say, yes, you can, and in fact we try to get them involved beyond that. You want to bring one of your docs down to look at how we do this. You want us to be able to electronically help us with the planning. Try to make them feel that they have an interest and they can actually learn something in the process.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's always good to see you.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
You got good folks
to talk.
that come up from your center down in San Diego. Appreciate the drive up. And if you like more information, it's very easy. Just search CaliforniaProtons.com, and there you go. All right, we'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Doctor, thank you.
Sure.
I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cartmart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Cart here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
Parkinson's disease is a neurological movement disorder affecting an estimated 1 million Americans, including many under age 40. The American Parkinson Disease Association is the largest grassroots network in the United States, working to help ease the burden and find the cure for those coping with Parkinson's. Visit apdaoptimism.org today to find out how you can help millions live with dignity and optimism. Your action today will help APDA put an end to Parkinson's disease.
Welcome back. Social Services is here today, and we have Susan McInerney here, and then we also have Marcy Scheinwold, who is the president of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village. Welcome, ladies. Hopefully I didn't butcher your names too bad.
No, it's terrific. Yes. Terrific.
Those are some tough ones to pronounce. So, Susan, we're going to start with you, and tell me a little bit about social services. There's a lot of new people that have moved into the village that may not necessarily know what you're all about.
Social Services is here for the residents. Our goal, our mission to say, is to help residents maintain and live the best quality of life that they can.
Mm-hmm.
So that could mean coming in and just getting a few referrals needed for things, meaning how to get a caregiver or how to ride the bus, how to connect to other services. Or it could be something as big as they are in a real emergency pinch of not being able to afford their electricity. And that is how the foundation helps tremendously for us.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah.
So, Marcy, tell me a little bit about the purpose and the history of the foundation and,
Okay.
you know, really just what it's all about.
All right. The foundation is a homegrown charity right here in Laguna Woods Village. It was formed in 1997, so we've been here a little over 20 years. And our motto, I guess, tells everything about us. It's neighbors helping neighbors. Our funds come from the village. In turn, all of the money that we spend to help residents goes back to the village. We don't help anybody outside the village walls.
Right.
But as Susan indicated, we are finding that there are residents that are hitting financial times. It may simply be that they're outlived their resources, you know, people are living longer. It may be that they had a medical emergency and it exhausted whatever savings they had. It may be that they hit the donut hole and they have an expensive prescription. It may be that they just came out of the hospital, they need a caregiver, they need Meals on Wheels, they can't afford it. What do they do?
Right.
One of the best partnerships in Laguna Woods is the foundation working with social services. When people experience their needs, we suggest their first stop. Don't pass go, go directly to social services. And I understand that the phone number is going to be up, or Susan will tell us later. But when somebody needs help financially, they go to social services. Social services documents their need, kind of explains to us what that need is. But I have to tell you one important thing. When they make a request to us for help, for funding, we have no idea who that resident is. Everything is kept confidential. There is no exchange of names. We could be helping one of my neighbors and I would not know.
Okay.
And the other important thing to know is that we pay the vendor. We'll pay the caregiver, we'll pay the ambulance service, we'll buy the medical alert system. We will help the vendor. We pay the vendor directly.
Okay.
So no money goes directly. And our help is temporary. Look, the foundation is not a welfare agency. We provide temporary financial need to residents who are experiencing a financial crisis.
Got it.
That's something we spend a lot of time on. So the way it would, and that's exactly, the confidentiality part is a big deal. So when someone comes in or they have financial need, they call social services first, and the number will be up. They'll talk to our intake coordinator, and she will, from there, write up information, and it will be assigned to a social worker who will, usually the turnaround is very quick, within a day. We'll call the resident and say, let's make an appointment, and then a financial assessment is done. And the reason we're doing that is mostly we want to make sure, okay, if this is an emergency or an ongoing issue. If it's an ongoing issue, we need to look at the big picture and see what resources can we get in there and see why does this keep happening. Because it's not necessarily an emergency if it happens every month.
Right,
So we need to establish a need and then get that resident on the right track. Set them up so that this doesn't keep happening. Because that's a hard, if you're living so close to the edge every month, it's stressful. It's going to lead to other issues. And so we want to make sure, what can we do to help that person? And then other times someone's doing okay, but they had a fall, went to the hospital, came home, needed a caregiver for a period of time, and that just threw them financially in a loop.
And then expensive.
And then they get the services, the help from the foundation, which is amazing, and then things get better and they're right back on track.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I should point out, when we say neighbors helping neighbors, the foundation is very unique. Laguna Woods Village is very unique. I do not know another community that sustains a charity like this with the support and enthusiasm that this village does. And we are very grateful for that support. And we get letters, anonymous, the names are taken off by social services, thanking for us. I mean, I still remember a letter that we got. A woman was living here with her mother. They were both elderly. They had 3 cans of food left in their pantry. And through social services, they were able to get a Stater Brothers grocery card, which we pay for and distribute to residents who are in need. We also started a program with social services where one day a month we transport people to the food pantry right here on Watney near Bake Parkway. It's about 3 miles away. And one of our goals working with is to make sure that, as we say, no village resident has to choose between filling a prescription and buying food. And we could not do that without the help of social services.
All right. So if someone wanted to donate or participate in helping the foundation, what do they do?
Well, they contact us. We have an office right on the first floor of this building. We have a donation box right across from our office. They can put the donation in. We have a website. We have a Facebook page.
Wow, you guys are on it. Okay, what's the website, just so we have that?
Foundation of Laguna Woods Village.org. And on that website, there is a donation portal. And all I can tell you, if that doesn't work for you, get in touch with me.
Well, right, and or also, of course, call social services, and you can go ahead and work on that.
Absolutely.
All right, great. So the foundation donation box is downstairs on the first floor of the Community Services Building, so they could donate there. Okay, great. And then if they needed help, they would call social services, and that number again is 949-597-4267, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, all right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It was really a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you very much. It was very nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Yes, well, I'm not so sure when.
All right, well, we'll be right back after this.
South County Lexus, we really are different. We're California's exclusive Lexus Plus dealer. Lexus Plus is a new way of doing business. At a Lexus Plus dealer, you can expect an upfront, negotiation-free, hassle-free price right on the vehicle. The same price you'll find on our website, all the way through the transaction. South County Lexus, we feel this is the way of the future, and this is the way the customer prefers to do business. South County Lexus, your exclusive Lexus Plus dealer. Different, just like you.
And welcome back. With me right now from Sterling Financial Advisors is Dan Oweiler. Great to see you, sir. Welcome.
Good to see you, Ken. How you been?
Good. How about you?
Not too bad. Kind of a ugly week as far as news goes.
Yeah.
In regards to the shootings and the fires and everything. And depending upon how you look at the election and
That's
the election.
Right. So let's talk about that for a minute. Do midterm elections, when we see changes in Congress, which is not unusual. It always seems after the first 2 years, it happened with Clinton, it happened with Obama, it happened with Bush, that you often see a shift within Congress.
Well, there's a theory that the stock market always does well in the second half of a presidential term because the president is gearing up for re-election and he's trying to do things that will stimulate the economy.
Right.
So he has a good story going into the election cycle. You know, with President Bush and President Obama, their quote-unquote good years came in the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So that theory was not holding strong. If you look at the last 2 years for President Trump, we've had a pretty booming economy over the last 2 years. And if he's going to do something to stimulate it even more, that means we'd have to average, I think, 10, 11%, you know, just to match what his first 2 years did, and as far as the stock market is concerned. And so I don't know that it's going to hold true. It would be nice to have another 10, 11% market gain each year, but that's a pretty high bar to be setting to try to do that. So, but the theory is that stocks do well under a specific party really hasn't held up historically.
Right.
In
Yeah, I
regards
remember
to
you've mentioned that before.
But they do say that companies that are tied to government spending or public works do well more under the Democratic Party because they seem to spend more on government works or projects or things like that, more government spending type of thing.
So we're at an interesting point. Again, not unprecedented. It's happened many times before.
Right.
Where we have, you know, the Congress on one side and the president on the other. Of course, this time around, we also have now the Senate, which has been on the Republican side, is
it's
even
kind
more
of a
on the
balance,
Republican side.
you know, all the pundits said after the election, it just tells us that the American people want to split the power of Congress. And that could be true, it could not be true. You know, everything goes in cycles.
Yeah.
You know, house prices and oil prices and everything goes in cycles. And so, you know, during the Obama years, they were saying the Republican Party was dead.
Right.
You know, and you know, here we had a quote-unquote red wave sweep into Congress and President Trump's thing, and they were saying, well, where's the Democratic Party now? Same thing's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know,
it always does.
When President Trump says we're going to drain the swamp, well, there is a underside of Washington, D.C. that are career politicians or career people that just are in their lifetime jobs. And,
that's true.
And administrations come and go, and they're still there.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, whether or not it's going to affect it, you know, what it can affect is, you know, tax cuts and things like that, or tax policies do affect the American people. But with one House of Congress being Republican and the other being Democrat, you're probably not going to get a lot done in the next 2 years.
I have a feeling. Let's talk about, and you've talked about this before. You sent me an article, Simple Inherited IRA screw up results and it results in a $9,000 tax bill. And there is something that you and I have talked about that we know, death, taxes, and the way that nothing is ever simple when it comes to our taxes or IRS or the government. They make it very difficult sometimes for people to wade through things, and they really have to be on
especially
top
with
of it.
retirement accounts. You know, the article I sent you just talked about a woman who had inherited her mother's IRA, I think it was. And I don't know, it was $130,000 or something, and she took out a $5,000 distribution and rolled within that 60-day time frame it over into an inherited IRA. So she received the check for the total amount, took out $5,000, and then rolled it over into an inherited IRA. The problem with that is the 60-day rollover rule doesn't apply to inherited IRAs.
Okay.
It has to go directly from custodian to custodian.
Okay.
And so what she did is she took a distribution with the intention of rolling it into an inherited IRA within that 60-day time frame, but it doesn't apply to inherited IRAs.
So what should she have done?
Well, she should have had a distribution of the $5,000 from the custodian and then rolled it to a bank or a mutual fund or annuity, or whatever she's going to do it, directly from the custodian to the company.
Okay.
She can't take a distribution and then in 60 days roll that into it.
Okay.
Okay.
So it almost sounds like a bit of a timing issue.
Yeah. Well, it's not much of a timing issue. It's just that they can't do they don't have the 60-day rule for inherited IRAs.
Right. And when you talk about the custodian, you talk about where the IRA is being kept?
Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, annuity company, whatever.
Okay. And someone obviously did an advisor that if you just do it this way, the end results will be the same for you, but you'd
only be taxed on the $5,000 and not the $130,000. So she ended up being taxed on the whole amount, and she claimed my intent was to do that. Well, intent isn't a very viable argument with the IRS.
Yeah, but it shows you how just a little bit of a tweak or something like that.
Even the titling of an IRA, an inherited IRA, is critical, because if you don't title it properly, it'll be taxed to you.
Yeah.
And so there really are some stringent rules. Actually, the publication is 590 of the IRS code. It's about 125 pages brochure that tells you how to distribute things from retirement accounts.
Wow. So that's something that obviously, you have a client come in that might be looking at this. You help them steer in the right direction.
The thing that they should really do is get together with a distribution expert that understands how these accounts work. Sometimes they think it's an estate planning attorney, but estate planning attorneys really don't understand these distribution rules most of the time. Not all the time, but they understand the probate process and the legal ease, but they don't understand the investment side of that.
Right.
Sometimes they get some bad advice.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate, but again, they don't make it easy.
The IRS doesn't use ignorance of the law as a valid reason for not paying your taxes or being assessed a taxes.
So it's good to stay on top of that.
Yeah, so maybe if we're lucky, the midterms will get something done, but I'm not counting on it.
Yeah, neither am I. We'll see what happens. All right, Dan.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
All right.
And if you have any questions, maybe you just want to sit down with Dan and kind of go over things and see if he can help you out. SterlingFA.com is the website, 949-859-8900. They're just up in Mission Viejo near the Social Security office. And as you always said, if they haven't met you before, come on, set an appointment, meet you.
There's no obligation, complimentary initial interview if they'd like to come in and just chat about their situation. I don't know if I can help them or not, but we can certainly sit down and maybe see if we can.
All right, get that IRA situation tackled.
Good
Take
to
care.
see you.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Farman Cosmetic and Implant Dentistry is located right outside Gate 6 and has been keeping the village smiling for many years.
I trust Dr. Farman with all my dental procedures and all my dental work. Thank goodness I found Dr. Farman.
We have been serving the community of Laguna Woods for almost 20 years now. Come and visit us at Brilliant Smile for all your dental needs.
We are close to Gate 6, near Snooty Fox Restaurant, behind Coco's.
I love seeing the mountains with snow out there. It looks great. Maybe we'll get snow on Saddleback as we did, really the last couple of years we did. In fact, snow actually came down to part of the foothills. It was great. I think maybe we'll do that again this year. I'm hoping. Our movie coming up today, a very different kind of movie. It's called I Kill Giants. This is based on a children's graphic novel of the same name. Actually, I think it was a several-part series. And we're going to take a look at a trailer from there.
Gift of new, gift of old. Bless the righteousness, guide my hand. Against the darkness, my final stand.
Barbara, I want to get to know you a little bit more. Do you have many friends? What about your sister?
I play your dragons or whatever if you ask me to.
That would be hilarious. What are you doing? What's it for? There's some serious stuff going down. I find giants. I hunt giants. I kill giants. Cool. Yeah, that's it. Dark omens are totally cool. A giant comes to a place and takes everything from you. And when it's done, it's like anything that made your life good was never even there. Giants aren't real. Then why are you sweating? I know that no one likes me. I know that everything I do looks crazy. This isn't real. You're not listening to me! This giant is coming! We're gonna save this town. There are times where you have to ask yourself, do I want to live my life as a coward or a warrior?
That looks like a really good movie. And as I said, it's based on a children's graphic novel. And it's about a 12-year-old girl who struggles through life and escapes into a world of fantasy, of magic and monsters. And this is all about how she copes through some tragedies that have happened in her life. Good movie. It looks something very different and got great reviews. So that's today at 2 o'clock and then at 7 o'clock. And our movie on Monday is called Skyscraper. This stars Dwayne Johnson and, you know, action, adventure, as all his movies are. And it's kind of based on both, if you remember, The Towering Inferno and also Die Hard, that type of movie where he's part of a FBI hostage rescue team, or he was, and a war veteran, and he's an assignment as the security chief for the tallest building in the world in Hong Kong, and he gets framed and his family gets trapped in this building as it's explodes on fire. Again, action, adventure kind of movie. Looks like a good movie, a fun movie. Dwayne Johnson, Nev Campbell, and Chin Han are in this, and this will be our Monday movie coming up on December 10th at 2 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. Now let's get to the weather. Beautiful next few days. A little bit of clouds out there, but overall it will be relatively cool to mild. It's definitely cold overnight, but nice and clear. A little bit more clouds as we get into next week. There is only about now maybe a 10% chance of some drizzle coming out on Tuesday, but that's really just a chance right now. and we'll see if that materializes or not. But just great, beautiful late fall weather. It's exactly what we want after all the rain. And around the state this weekend, a lot of snow. If you want to go up to Tahoe or Mammoth or even locally, as we just saw outside. Up in the North Coast, that's around Eureka area, they might get a little Sunday drizzle. That would be the same system that if it makes its way down here, we may get something on Tuesday. But probably, you know, that's still really iffy right now. But man, just a great day to go out and just maybe put on a light jacket and take a walk. It's just spectacular outside. On Monday, we're going to have an update from 3rd, and then from the Wings chapter, which works with the Segerstrom and OC Fire Authority. They are going to talk about holiday safety, and meaning, you know, plugging in all your lights and things like that, and also general cooking safety. And then we're going to have, of course, Eileen will be here all the way from the library, the Village Library. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.